Hey everybody, this is Dust for Dust.on Gaming and MTG Tavern here on Twitch. Tonight we're going to be playing a deck submitted by Wardog on user here on Twitch, also Frederick Perry on YouTube. It is Mentor Young Pyromancer, taking the traditional Mardu Pyromancer list and throwing in some Monastery Mentors and making some changes. Most notably, 4 Mishra's Baubles in the main. Some of the 4-color Pyromancer decks that Brendan DeCandio was playing, with like Grim Flayers and Bloodbraid Elves. Also, we're playing some number of Baubles, so that's not a completely new inclusion. One of Surgical Extraction in the main deck, also kind of a free spell to pair with your Monastery Mentor. For those of you who are not familiar with Monastery Mentor, this is basically Young Pyromancer on crack. It costs 1 mana more, which is prohibitively expensive in formats like Modern. But if you can go like Young Monastery Mentor into like Inquisition or Fatal Push or Mishra's Bauble, an unanswered Monastery Mentor closed the game even faster than Young Pyromancer. Beyond that, I mean, you've got your usual, you've got your bolts, your fatal pushes, your inquisitions, your faithless lootings, brutalities. One of Direfleet Daredevil, which is a pretty interesting inclusion. This card's popping up in the human stacks, popping up in some various other decks, even showing up in Legacy on occasion. Terminate to get your big creatures dead. Multiple Kolaghan's commands to grind some value with your Bedlam Revelers, and then Lingering Souls. And your land base changed a little bit to accommodate Monster Mentor. You have a Godless Shrine. You have a basic Plains and a Sacred Foundry. So beyond that, and you got a couple copies of Concealed Courtyard. So double red might be a little bit harder to come by in this build, but other than that, which the only double red obviously is your kind of closer and Bedlam Reveler. And then in the sideboard, got a lot of the same usual things. Another Surgical Extraction for graveyard-based decks, or blanking Snapcaster Mages. Thoughtseizes where you need more hand disruption. Shattering Spree. In the email he sent me, it was Shattering Pulse, but that's not legal, so I'm going to go with Shattering Spree, presuming that's what he meant. Direfleet Daredevil. Once again, same reason it's the main deck. It's amazing against opponents with spells. A couple copies of Blood Moon. Probably not as good as it is in the normal Mardu lists, because you are a little more white heavy. A couple copies of Molten Rain, disrupt your opponent's mana. Also good against Valakut and Tron. One of Anger of the Gods when you need a sweeper. A couple Dreadbores for problematic bigger creatures and planeswalkers. A couple copies of Wear Tear for artifact and enchantment based decks, such as Bogles, or decks that'll bring in Leyline Sanctity against you. Then Tormod's Crypt. Crypt's a little bit unique of an inclusion. We were thinking, why not Nihil Spellbomb or something? It's a 0-cost spell you can play with Mentor, pretty much. Be my guess of the particular reasoning for that card. So we're going to run this through a league, see how it does, and hope you enjoy the ride. Deck certainly looks like an interesting spin on things. Sorry. Wonderful last match there with Burn a few minutes ago. So getting punked out by Grixis with a thing in the ice. Not really punked out. We just lost. They were able to counter our last couple of relevant spells and move along with the party. So, the rest of this deck, not much to say other than, a lot of cantrips, a lot of, so this deck is a lot smaller than most of your typical mid-range decks in terms of, like, how many cards you see versus, 3 mana can actually be quite a bit in a deck like this, especially when you're playing 20 lands, but you do have 8 cantrips or filtering effects, plus, see a lot of cards. It's been a little bit since we've played Mardu Pyromancer. I believe I played a list immediately after the Pro Tour, but beyond that, we haven't touched the deck, so Definitely gonna have to keep an eye on alright, so 3 lands might be a bit much, but we're gonna go ahead and keep this hand. We have Faithless Looting, Bolt, etc. to interact with our opponent. Just lead on Blackleaf Cliffs. Slow our opponent down a little bit. Goblins. Bushwhacker, Goblin Guide, Lightning Bolt, Mog Fanatic. Think I'm just going to take War Marshal because it's the most problematic card. The rest of these cards, you know, they can get in for some amount of chip shot damage or whatever, but beyond that, I don't think we care too much about their hand. Though, kind of funny, they lead with a, yep. See what's on the top of our deck here. Gives us a Blackleaf Cliffs, Kulgan's Command. I think we'll lead on looting. Okay. I think we just discard 2 Faithless Lootings. Hold up Lightning Bolt. Right now we have 4. So another Goblin Guide, sure. Our opponent has at least 1 more land here. Trigger 1. Collective Brutality seems like a pretty fun card. Let's bolt one of your dudes here. Now the question is going to become is, are they going to want to bolt us or play like a Mog Fanatic? Alright, so we're going to get the bolt out of their hand. So their hand is Bushwhacker, Bolt, 1 unknown. Question is, how many lands am I willing to throw away here? Or do I just Kulgan's Command, pitch Kulgan's Command, pitch land? Play this Plains out. Doesn't do much here, but go 3 modes, you. Pitching these 2. Get this, get a Lightning Bolt. So yeah, Bushwhacker. Alright, pass. So we're gonna get hit for 4 next turn? Yep. Ditching Lightning Bolt kind of sucks. Definitely screwed up in how we approach dealing with that last situation. Yeah, discard Lightning Bolt. Alright, so play Concealed Courtyard and pass. Definitely feels like we're close to stabilizing here. Opponent's kind of going through their options. Alright, so one of your thing was a land. Burning tree into nonsense. Seems pretty reasonable here. So they're definitely goblins. So we're gonna... guess I have to be a little bit careful with how we block. 3, 6, 7. Just block Monk Fanatic. They want to finish us off with the Fanatic. I guess I'm okay with that. See if they use the Fanatic to finish it off. Yep. Alright, so that ended up being like a 5 or 6 for 1 here. Inquisition. No cards in hand, so... Bedlam Reveler. Mistress Bauble. Prowess Trigger, yeah, that's nice, sort of. So, am I scrying them or us? Guess I'm scrying us. Just Bauble. Sacred Foundry, no, not really interested in that one. Go ahead and pass. Maybe we'll hit like a removal spell here. Alright, Young Pyro's not bad. Dismember. Wow. Alright. I mean, we're gonna get hit for 2 here. So any goblin grenades are just lethal. Concealed Courtyard. Got Young Pyromancer here. Cast this Faithless Looting. Fatal Push seems reasonable. Put these, bend those, and then go ahead and pass here. Obviously, if they hit Goblin Grenade at any point, we're just dead. So, need to start turning the corner here. Swamp. Grab that in. That. Flashback of Faithless Looting. Bedlam Reveler and Lingering Souls. Do this. Flashback, Lingering Souls. Trigger this. Start beating down. Am I dead? I mean, if you have a Goblin Grenade, I'm dead here. Nope, Burning Tree Emissary, sure. Burning Tree into what, though? War Marshal? Sure. Why would you even attack here? Fatal Push. So... push... that guy. another token. Play this. Actually, did I play a land this turn? Play out our land. Play out this Bedlam Reveler. Draw 3 cards. So pseudo free attack for our opponent. Play out Monastery Mentor here. Pass. So you have one more turn to draw a Goblin Grenade. Looks like you did not. Direfleet Daredevil. Flashback Lightning Bolt. Whew. Alright, so definitely want the Anger of the Gods. Probably can board out this Surgical Extraction. Doesn't feel like a Surgical S extraction matchup. They might bring in Blood Moon. How worried am I about Blood Moon? And that, and the Direfleet Daredevil. Perhaps the Dreadbores. I don't know if the Dreadbores are necessary. And then shave like a Kulligan's Command. I guess I could bring in Wear Tears as a hedge against Blood Moon, but I don't know how much I can really afford to play that game. Sure. Put them all into 6, put their card on bottom. Legion Loyalist. Another young Pyromancer. Inquisition, see what you got over there. Wow. Your hand's kind of awful. Remnant Runes, obviously kind of relevant. Faithless Looting. So this is one example of where it's possible I should be deploying these baubles, but you've got the Vushvaker, yeah. Okay. Attack with Loyalist, I'm definitely blocking. The reason being is, this card makes tokens useless, so Lingering Souls. Problem is, like, I have to take what, 11 damage, 3 damage here, just to be able to. Alright, so guess we go ahead and get Sacred Founder here. If our opponent Blood Moons us, they Blood Moon us. Cast Young Pyromancer. this out. Target you. Burning tree on top. Bedlam Reveler. Definitely discarding that one. And another land, sure. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Faithless looting, huh? So right now this would cost 3 red. Decisions. Bobble and this will cost 2 red. I think we just pass here. I know our last card in hand was Ramanat Ruins. It's like they're running really low on resources. Log War Marshal, sure. Go ahead and kill that. Alright, so go ahead and run this out. Yep, can't cast it, I know. And then Flashback Souls. See if our opponent chooses to play Echo. They probably will. Because their last card in hand's still Ramanat Ruins. Yep, unsurprisingly keeping it around. Loyalist is annoying. Alright, Brutality, Fatal Push, and all that jazz, sure. Alright. Swamp, huh? Let's go with 2 mode. Actually, yeah, 2 modes. Discard First match in, so far so good. Playing against Ramanut Goblins. Direfleet Daredevil with nothing to flash back. Go ahead and flash back this Faithless Looting. Huh. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to 9 here. There's no combination of cards in the Goblins deck that kills us from here. So, like, if they attack and I didn't have a removal spell, then attack plus Goblin Grenade plus Bolt could get there. But have a feeling Wardog, we're going to see quite a bit more Ramanut Ruins running around in Modern. Now that Ramanut Bomat Courier deck popped up at the Star City event. Alright, so presuming this hand's a keep because of Faithless Looting and Bauble. Because we can literally dig for anything, although these double Bedlam Revelers are a little rough. I don't like Burning Bauble, but I suspect we are on... Okay, so we're up against Jund. So... Okay, Sacred Foundry is not really what we want to draw there. Dark Confidant. So we need to find a bolt or a push here. I already have the Sacred Foundry. I already have a mountain. So probably Blood Crypt. Guess we lead on looting because we really need to find one of our bajillion... Oh boy. Wow. So obviously one of the pitches is probably a land. Is one of the other ones one of the Revelers, just because this hand is so awkward? And Marsh Flats, I guess. Play a tap Sacred Foundry and pass. No, but to be fair, I did keep a bit of a sketcher. I have a feeling we're about to get Liliana'd. Yep. Especially if they're willingly taking that much damage. Nope, just Scavenging Ooze and eat the Faithless Looting. Alright. Now the question becomes, do we have to kill the Bob or kill the Ooze? Because Bobby isn't too nice to us, but neither is Scavenging Ooze. Huh. Decisions. Alright, you think Bob, we'll kill Bob. I think I'm just supposed to hold Dire Fleet here. Yeah. I don't think we're winning this game anyway, but yep, here comes a bolt for our dude. Wow, that's a hand. Okay. Immediately rip a land for Bloodbraid Elf, sure. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next game, shall we? Alright, so this is a Blood Moon matchup. Presuming we're I have no idea what you would even bring in this matchup. I mean, I know I want the Dread Boars. Direfleet Daredevil? Seems reasonable. Is this Molten Rain and Blood Moon matchup or not? And what do you board out? Alright, so in other words, bring in Blood Moon. Gotcha. But what am I going down? Brutality? Like, Brutality isn't great. And do you leave Thoughtseize and Inquisitions in, or do you bore them out? Board out of Surgical. Maybe a Bobble and then... Bobble and one IOK. Yes, I'd like to play it first. We can't keep this hand. No way can we keep that hand. Can't keep this hand either. I just love going down cards against the Thoughtseize Inquisition deck. Sure, I guess we keep a mountain on top. And mountain go. Yep, discard spell on one. There goes our Blood Moon. They can't leave us with Blood Moon, right? Okay, land, please. I said land, not Bedlam Reveler. Scavenging Ooze. Okay. They are really concerned about leaving the graveyard kind of empty, huh? Ultra Ooze. Land, please. Yeah. Kitchen Finks. That's a roughin'. Gotcha. I don't think it's going to particularly matter in this game, because unless we like draw more lands, we're just kind of stuck here twiddling our thumbs. Alright, I mean... Blood Moon's our play, I guess. So they have red, and they could have been sandbagging him. Their swamp, too. Nope. And they have access to... Yep, Bloodbraid Elf. Which means they get our Terminates. Two, three. So we are 1 mana source away from casting as Revelers, and we're getting bolted here. Wow. They have another Bloodbraid Elf we're just dead. Yep. Tarmogoofy. And Kolaghan's command is not enough. Oh, because your comment above said not too much of their deck is red, so I guess I did not understand correctly. So what matchups do you bring Blood Moon in then? Ric Flair Woo. Sure. Hand seems reasonable. Dark Slick Shores. Wow. Is this possibly Lantern? Okay, took Monastery Mentor. Wow. Okay. So it's just straight up blue-black control? Gotcha. Am I supposed to respond with surgical here? Feels a little loose. But at least we get to see what's going on with our deck then. Alright, so they're just a blue-black Kalidas Ashiok. Ooh, boy. They have Damnation, they have Collective Brutality, they have Cryptic Commands. This is an interesting deck. Snapcasters. This is a person that definitely takes pride in their deck, too. That's a deck. Their hand is like 3 lands. Use Collective Brutality. Fatal Push is mostly a dead card against them. Does feel like the games where we don't have Faithless Looting or an early Reveler, the deck just kind of sits there and twiddles its thumbs a little bit. Kolaghan's Command's not a bad one. Wow, they're gonna go ahead and fire up Tar Pit here. That's ballsy. Must really have nothing else going on here right now. Probably want to leave most of my... Get this. Yes. Get a swamp. Deal 2 damage. Return target creature from graveyard to your hand. Do that and that. Stone Rain plus get my Monastery Mentor back. Sign me up. Just leave Bolt up for now. Wow. Okay. Sure. Damnation 1 for 1. Seems reasonable. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm supposed to hold on to this Black Cleave Cliffs for now in case they, in case we draw Faithless Looting. Sure. Yeah, they had 2 copies in their deck, so I mean, there's only so much we can play around. Fatal Push is already... Once they get like a Jace or something... Kalitas. I don't have a fetch land right now, so that's kind of awkward. Okay, I guess we're... Yeah, they had multiple Lilianas of the Veil and 1 copy of Liliana of the Last Hope. So... Target player... Huh. Gotta do 2 damage to him. Am I forcing them to discard, or am I getting back Mentor? I feel like I need to get back Mentor. Target creature. Kill your Kalitas. Play out the land. Yeah. I was just debating whether their card in their hand was going to be worth... Like, if they land Jace or something, it's going to be pretty miserable, but... I mean, I guess I jam it, but it's like... There's a good chance they found a Cryptic Command by now. always be crypting. Maybe I should have saved a discard spell. But to be fair, we don't have any discard spells in the main deck other than the other Brutality. Yeah, let's just go to the next game. Yeah. Time to go to the next game. I'm not interested in sitting through Jace the Mind Sculptor controlling my draws. Probably want the other Surgical. Thoughtseizes. Tormod Crypt's fine. Dreadbores. Yeah, wants Direfleet Daredevil. Yeah, Kozilek doesn't clear the way from whatchamacallit is the problem. Cryptic commands. Probably trim a couple of bolts, one fatal push. Question is, what are the other cuts? Like, I want the bolts to pressure their walkers and answer things. I want to leave some amount of pushes in to deal with their Kalitas, because that's a fairly annoying card for us. Maybe the Crypt is just too cute. Reveler's a good card, but I suspect they're going to be bringing in Graveyard Hate. All the push, they're almost dead. Yeah, I guess. Let's try it like this then. Guess I'd like to play first. Oh. Probably just an instant mulligan and I'm tanking too long over it. Yay, the all-creature hand. Opponent's tanking pretty hard on their 6. They decided to keep on their 7, sorry. As much as I want another Mentor, I think I have to bottom it. Their Spreading Seas plan could be... Yeah, I agree. Bottoming the Mentor was just a call, because I want to be able to find like a discard spell or something here. Instead they lead on Serum Visions. So it looks like they're trying hard to play around Blood Moon. So am I just supposed to jam Pyro here? Force them to have all the answers? Go with Pyro. Direfleet has more utility. Okay. Don't want the land. Definitely want the coal guns command. Sure. Wow. Oh. For those of you that can't see the cards, Cryptic, Damnation, Damnation, Jace, Delta. Oh, damn, sometimes. Oh, my. Huh. So they can't cast Cryptic right now. something to note. They can't cast Cryptic right now. Damnation kills our Mentor. And Jace is just a good old knucklehead. So guess it's Damnation and pray they don't rip a land for IOK? And hope they just, like, go to jam Jace? And hope we rip spells? Like a lot to ask right now. Alright, so no matter what we would get back with whatchamacallit here. I was kinda hoping they'd just jam Jace. Target player discards a card. So annoying. Wow. Alright. Catch you later. Huh. Alright, so a couple of grindy matchups here that we've gotten a bit beat up on. Kind of hard to Inquisition your opponent when they have all 4 drops. Oh. Alright, I'll be back in one short minute. Alright, so I'm sure there were some decisions in those last match or two with Jund and with blue-black control there. I'm sure I made some mistakes. Like that collective brutality when you're seeing a hand of Inquisition of Kozilek, Damnation, Cryptic Command, and Jace. Obviously can't take the Jace. My decision was to take Damnation, hope to Kolaghan's Command back. Monastery Mentor if they didn't draw the land to Inquisition of Kozilek us. Sure, we'll keep this hand. Not the greatest in the world, but it's keep. Got Fatal Push into Collective Brutality into Direfleet Daredevil. Pendelhaven, huh? Alright. So, some type of infect deck, it looks like. Just gonna go ahead and grab good old Blood Crypt here. Lingering Souls is not a bad draw. Probably interested in 2 modes, Brutality. Do that. Because we're probably up against Infect here. Just pitch Lingering Souls. Alright. Glistener Elf. Inkmoth Nexus. That's quite a hand. Let's take Blossoming Defense here. Flashback some souls. Fortunately, Direfleet can't flashback stuff in our own graveyard. Sure. Probably plays, yep, there's the other Glistener Elf here. Inquisition of Kozilek. No! Definitely not. Definitely not. They ended up landing Jace on an empty board when we were empty-handed in Game 2, just like Game 1. So, no. They ended up... The sequence, they... Were you here when I collected Brutality and saw Inquisition of Kozilek, Damnation, Cryptic Command, Jace? I ended up taking Damnation, the Inquisition of Kozilek, drew the land for Jace. So I Kolaghan's Command, made them discard. They discarded Cryptic Command and then played Jace and then went to town. So yeah, I had a situation where I had they're not going to play anything of note here, so I'm just going to go ahead exile one of the cards in their graveyard. So, yeah, I collected Brutality them, and they had like Jace. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Man, opponent is drawing well. I will grant them that much. Okay. So a little bit of a mistake on our opponent's part here. Still not blocking right now. They have a mutagenic growth in hand. They didn't use their Pendlehaven. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. No, they have a mutagenic in hand. So we just kind of sit back and twiddle our thumbs right now. So with 2 cards in hand, I'm definitely going to have to... Could force the pump spell here, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and let them do what they're doing. So we get to see what is in their hand. Generic growth and groundswell. Alright, see if there's any unique cards in their deck. Distortion strikes, dismembers. I think this is pretty similar to the list we played a couple weeks ago ourselves. And don't forget to get the one out of their yard. So what's the cost on this? 4, right? Go ahead and Reveler here. Alright, that's a start. Though... Huh. Guess we go ahead and attack with... No. Since I'm attacking with Dire Fleet right now. We do need to find... Okay. Am I just dead then? Wow. Yep. So they get to go... 2, 4... Yep. We're just dead here. Okay, so we're not dead? Cool. Because they have... Well, actually, no, we are dead. So, because they have Groundswell and Mutagenic Growth in hand. Yep. Wow, they didn't go for the kill there. That was a punt. That was the punt, yeah. Sure. Young Pyro. Jack Growth Groundswell. Take the Groundswell. Leave you with the Mutagenic Growth. They had lethal. I don't know why they didn't go for it. We were literally tapped out, and they didn't go for lethal. I am confused. Okay. Target player discards a card. Destroy target artifact. Alright, so you're dead? I was dead last turn if you went all in. I was at 6, and you had Muda and Groundswell. That is 10. Believe it or not, opponent, yes, I was at 3. That hit did 3, and yes, that turn cycle you could have played Yuda and Groundswell, put me from 3 to 10. Ink Moth 1, Noble 2, Pendle 3, Pump 5, Pump 7. Ink Moth Noble 1. Alright, let's sideboard here. Surgical is reasonable. Dreadbore is not amazing. Let's get these Thought Seizes in here because they're reasonable. Cut a Bauble. Cut a Mentor. Cut a Bedlam. This isn't right. That's what I get for talking with my opponent too long. Way too many lands. Grab I probably average about 65 to 70% with burn. Alright, so looks like we got the tilt confession there. Good old modern. Get hammered hard by 2 mid-range decks and then have an opponent tilt off and beat them because of surgical. It's possible that surgical extraction was going to grab their only threat. Maybe Ink Moth. They had another Ink Moth in hand, maybe. I don't know. Definitely understand my opponent's frustration, though. Definitely understand it. This hand's a keep, but, I mean... I feel like I've played against this player before, but I can't remember what they were on. Valakut? Excuse me. Nope. Alright, so... I believe this was the... Mono red. Is this just burn? Alright, Skullcrack, Lava Spike, Rift Bolt. Probably just take Rift Bolt here. Does take away some of their mana efficiency next turn. Probably should have played Mishra's Bauble there. Alright. Lava Spike, sure. Young peasy, huh? So... play this out, play this out. Target myself. I'm not really interested in drawing another Fatal Push, so... fetch... grab... another red source. Pass to my opponent. Really want to draw... Okay, Faithless Looting is not a horrible one here. So we know one of their cards in hand is Skullcrack. Bedlam Reveler. Okay. So, Pyromancer, Faithless Looting. So actually we still know both cards in our opponent's hand. So currently 1, 2, this would be 3, 4. Bolt would be 5. Discard 1 Kolaghan's Command. Discard the other Kolaghan's Command. Play out Mishra's Bauble. Alright, so they're thinning their deck. Okay. Another young Pyromancer. Swamp. Definitely not interested in Swamp here. Tapped Blood Crypt and pass. Presuming we're gonna get Skull Cracked here. Lightning Bolt, yep. Alright, so we're probably dead here. They're fetching. Yep, and then they have Skull Crack in hand. Yep. Alright, so the problem is we don't have a lot in our sideboard for them. Definitely like the Direfleet Daredevil. Some consideration for Molten Rain. And then beyond that, like Surgical Extraction's a little loose. And then like cut 1 Kolaghan's Command and 1 Bauble. Try like, or maybe it's just another Kolaghan's Command over the Bauble. Guess I'd like play first. Fatal Push. Sign me up. This is one of our better-ish hands against them, outside of not having a threat. got a Swift Spear. Terminate, huh? See what your hand is here. Searing Blaze, Eidolon, Riftbolt, Boros Charm. Just take the Boros Charm. Searing Blaze we can sort of play around because we know it's there. Yep, here comes Eidolon. Play out this card. Go ahead and pass here. So the problem is in a battle of no resources, I think they win, so. Alright. Sure. Keep a Godless Shrine in my hand in case we draw Faithless Looting or something here. Yep. Young Pyromancer. Which does us no good to play right now, because we know about the Searing Blaze in their hand. Lingering Souls, that's a decent one. Yeah, Lingering Souls here. Still continue to hold this Godless Shrine in our hand. Alright. So our opponent is flooding pretty hard, but I don't know if we're going to be able to take advantage of it. So we're going to double block the Goblin God, force them... Okay, they're not even willing to offer that exchange. Alright. So... play out Young Pyro. I know this is just going to get Searing Blaze, but I want to get the token anyway. So... still force them to burn both of their spells, whatever they happen to be. Yep, here comes the Searing Blaze we know about. Boros Charm, Lightning Helix. Lightning Helix to the face, sure. Okay. Alright. See the Goblin Guys reveal. Molten Rain. Pretty much dead to half of our opponent's deck here, so... Yep, that was the one card that punished us for that line, but didn't really matter. We were losing that particular exchange as it was, so... So thoughts on the deck. Trying to think here. This is one of those, like, a lot of the mid-range decks in Modern, you have to draw the right portion of your deck, and Mentor certainly helps with the lack of threats in the deck, but the deck still feels like you need Faithless Looting to make it go. Like, we exchange resources with Burn there, exchange resources with Burn, and then... yeah, I made a couple of calculated plays, like, leaving them with a Searing Blaze earlier instead of Boros Charm. I might have traded off that Terminate for a Drain too quickly. So there were certain, like, little decisions I made that were questionable, that were, if I'd done something differently, maybe they would have gone better. Like, both in the Burn matchup and against Blue-Black, there were decisions that I made that were taken upon certain lines and hoping they come together. But like, I don't know. Playing mid-range decks in Modern is a crapshoot, and especially on Magic Online, I don't know if it's just my play, or if it's just the environment of the meta, a little bit of both. But the mid-range decks always seem to go 3-2, 2-3, and it's very hard to kind of get ahead while playing them. Maybe that's just it. Maybe it's a weakness in my game. Maybe it's just how the meta's evolved with Jund being back in full force. But Wardog, if you're still here, your deck is sweet. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here critiquing the deck. I just think that the deck functions as Faithless Looting goes. Like, you have to hit Faithless Lootings into Bedlam Revelers to really, like, accrue the true card advantage you need against certain matchups. I like a lot of what your deck's trying to do with the Surgicals and the Mishra's Baubles to pair with the Monastery Mentors. When you can get that going, it's pretty sweet. Beyond that, yeah. I mean, we beat Infect, we beat... can't remember what the first match was. That's how kind of a day it's been. We beat Infect, lost to Blue-Black Control, lost to Jund, lost to Burn, and then... what was the first match? First match was Goblins. Feels about right. Burn feels like probably we're a slight dog. Jund, our Jund player obviously showed some knowledge of the matchup as they kept attacking our graveyard with Scavenging Oozes pretty aggressively. Blue-Black just felt like a bad matchup all the way around. Like, the choice of Inquisition in our main deck kind of hurt us in that matchup when their hands like mono 4-drops. I don't know. I definitely like Monastery Mentor giving you another angle of attack. Yeah, I like the deck. It's just the format's not very nice to mid-range decks if you don't draw the right half of your deck. So. I think... yeah, I'm glad you're still here, Wardog. I think... like... in a vacuum, Jund has the faster clock. In... like, the mid-range games, I think this deck is able to hang longer, but I also think you are very dependent upon the card Faithless Looting. And, you know, your deck is very good against, like, creature-based aggro decks like Affinity, like Collected Company decks, like Infect, like Goblins, like... and it really showed that your deck punishes those decks very, very hard. I think Mentor helps fill the void of you need another clock in the deck. But, like, it felt like you were a card short against Burn. Like you were 1 or 2 slots short against the control deck that we played. In Jund, it just felt like we just ran the beep beep over, and I had to mulligan. So, like, I could see this deck being very great for a Collected Company, small creature heavy meta. And I think in a less skewed meta, this deck is good. But I'm noticing more and more that as Jund made its presence felt and the metagame shifted, exactly what we thought was going to happen happened. The metagame is extending to the more unfair, less linear portions of the metagame. Like, even if you look at the... Like, I didn't get a chance to watch a ton of the Star City stuff today, but I know Green, Red, Eldrazi, and Burn made the finals. And then at least one of the other semifinal decks was Affinity. So, I think the format's starting to warp to the point where decks with the right disruption, decks with the right disruption and clock, a la humans, or with a game plan that attacks the mid-range decks from a horrible angle like Hollow One, are just starting to make their presence. Like, that's why they're the top decks. That's why, of the decks I play, Burn is the one that performs the best. It's hard to... In an open meta, it's hard to play a deck that's a mid-range deck, and I think consistently do well with it, unless your name is Reed Duke or you're a very good mid-range control player. I am, at best, an average mid-range control player. In Standard, I struggle with it. In Modern, I go 3-2 or 2-3. So you have to be very good with this style of archetype to continue to perform well in Modern, in an open meta. Like, in a LGS meta, I think mid-range decks are fine, as long as you can tune them to beat what you need to beat. End rant? So, that's why Reed's just freaking amazing with black-green decks. But, as far as my own personal take on it, I think the deck's good. I think the deck is fun. But I think your deck, to filter out the right draws, needs Faithless Looting. And unfortunately, there's no other effect in Modern like Faithless Looting. I think part of the reason the Garroyo's Vengeance, the Hollow One decks, is they can afford to play things like Goblin Lore and Burning Inquiry, and they get so much to look at so many cards, and they don't care about crap going to the graveyard. Faithless Looting is like this one-of-a-kind stuff. But, I don't know. This deck has a lot of stuff to it, but it's like, there are a lot of hands where we got stuck with, like, too many 3-drops in hand, or couldn't deploy enough. Now, some of it was me holding lands, because I wanted to hold lands for Faithless Looting. Maybe I should have played the lands more aggressively. So, there's a lot of... I honestly think in Modern, you have to play a deck so much to know it so well, and it really punishes people like me who play a lot of decks. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth playing any other effects, honestly, Wardog, but it's like, especially since your deck doesn't run too many lands, but it's like, I don't know. I don't think this league helped you very much in terms of, other than probably knowing some of the stuff that was already going on with the deck. Like, I'm sure if you go back and watch it, there are some lines I took that you wouldn't have agreed with, which I think that's a degree of you're the pilot of the deck, and yeah. You're the pilot of the deck, and this deck is well designed for your meta. So, like, some of the sideboarding choices, some of the decision points, I've noticed personally my playstyle, I tend to do better the fewer decisions I have to make. and maybe that's going to limit me as a Magic player, but I find the fewer decisions that I have to make, like, you know, Thoughtseize, Inquisition, you know, etc. The decks I tend to perform the best with are the consistent aggro, the consistent mid-range, linear decks. You know, things like Naya Monsters in Standard, things like Burn in Modern, things like, as dumb as this sounds, Blue Moon is a fairly linear deck. You counter the shit you need to counter, and then you try to find some way to kill them. You know, you lock them out with Blood Moon, you counter their first relevant spell or two, kill their crap, and then kill them with an Emrakul, or kill them with Snapcasters, bolts, and stuff. So, anywho, Wardog, your deck is amazing. I suck at mid-range. Hope you got something out of this. Beyond that, that's going to be my rant for the night. Gotta get to bed here myself. So, it's been fun hanging out. Thanks for hanging out, Wardog. This is going to be going up on the YouTube channel later tonight if you want to get a look all the way through the parts you missed because your internet was crapping out. So, beyond that, thanks everyone that's been hanging out tonight in Twitch. Thanks everyone who sees this later on YouTube. If you have some constructive feedback for Wardog and his deck, what's your username over on YouTube? Is it your real name? If you have any guys have any constructive feedback when you see this later, feel free to address it in the comments. I'm sure Wardog will be taking notes if there's anybody that has anything useful to say. So, thanks everyone for hanging out. Thanks, Wardog. Hope you get some sleep. Hope work goes well for you. I gotta go study for some. Yeah, I know I didn't want to give out your name if you didn't want to give it out. So, yeah. I tend to try to be a little cautious with people's real names whenever I get them in emails and stuff. Though I do think I slipped up and mentioned your name earlier when I was talking about the deck during the deck tech. So, I do try to be mindful of people's names and not mentioning it if I can. So, alright. Thanks for hanging out, Wardog, and hope to catch everyone later.